Hey Scrappy Peeps, Susanna here today for the Scrap Room, and I'm sharing with you this layout created using Pinkfresh Studios' Days of Splendor collection. I am using both the Flavors of the Month kit, the pattern paper add-ons, as well as the embellishment add-ons. So these are all the papers. You get 3 pattern papers, 2 pieces of cardstock, and then a selection of embellishments. It's white cardstock with this collection, and then you're going to get a 5th of the floral die cuts, 3 of the chipboard flares, and then a row of puffy dots. Those are the embellishments that come with the kit. And then for the embellishment add-ons, those are the sticker sheet comes with that. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to cut out a few of the frames here. I have 3 pictures. 2 are 2 by 3-ish, and then the other is a funky 2 by 1.5, 1 7/3. I've sized them to fit into some of these smaller frames. So I want to, and I've converted the photos to black and white so that the colors of the collection stand out and they don't compete with that. So I'm just choosing a collection of the frames here, and this video is much longer than most of my single page layout videos, and part of the reason for that is there is an awful lot of fussy cutting and then backing of this, and then each of those little frames is almost a canvas of its own that I decorate if I don't have a photo in it. So I'm going to fussy cut those frames. Later on I will actually add, I believe, 1 in addition, and then not only am I going to have to fussy cut the outside of those frames, but I am taking the innards out of all of them except for that blue frame and then the yellow round one. Everything else is going to get gutted. And so I will show you 1 or 2, and so you can see I use a combination of my X-Acto blade as well as my scissors, my detail scissors. And now I'm going to skip ahead to all of those that are cut, or the ones that I have cut up until this point. And then to put my photos in the frames, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to put adhesive on the frame, and then I'm going to angle out the photo so that I can snip behind the frame, and that way I can work as I go and not have to measure things. You know, obviously I visually check to see that it fits, but I don't have to trace it or see pencil lines on a black and white photo, which is a little bit difficult to do. So I have framed 1 of those photos. These photos are of my daughter with one of the new kittens that we have, and that's why the title of this will be Feels Like Home, because they are new to us, and it feels like home to both them and to my daughter. So I'm cutting out the innard of another frame so that I can frame that photo there. Again, I just, you know, the round ones are easier because they don't have those rounded edges like that red frame that I had there. And this one I am going to pop up on some 3D foam. So I want this to look like frames on a wall, and so that's why I'm trying to, but I also want the colors to work with a placement. I also have to figure out where a title is going to go in this, and I want the colors, I want different shapes and sizes of those frames, and I want them to be well matched, just as you would think about how you hang these things on a wall. So really the bulk of this layout is featuring this one particular piece of pattern paper, and then the embellishments that will dress this up. So this is the extra color that I want to add. I really like that purple color, and wanted to add that sort of violet to the collection there. I also felt like I needed 1 more rounded frame. I like to have trios of things when I design, and I feel like that extra 3rd rounded adds some softness to the page there. There's also an awful lot of white space, and I could fill some of that up. So again, this is for the Scrap Room, and I am using the October Flavors of the Month Pinkfresh Studio collection. There are 4 collections when you get these kits. This is just one of the 4. The other 3 this month are Echo Park, I Love Halloween, Photoplay, Heart and Home, and then Simple Stories, Apron Strings. And when you get the embellishment add-on and the pattern paper add-on, you get all 4 collections. So what I am doing here is I have laid out my frame, but I decided that I wanted to cut this. And so I'm going to mat the background, the white cardstock, with those 2 papers that you see behind it. And so I trimmed another piece so that I didn't have to. I'd already laid out the structure of how I wanted it to look, and I didn't want to mess with that, so that I still had an idea. I've spent a lot of time creating it. I don't want to recreate it. And the idea of leaving the space between that red and the yellow frame is that I know I want to draw a black line for like string that the frame is hanging from, or wire, depending on how heavy that frame may be. But in this case, it's going to be string. Actually, it's going to be pen. I am going to do a couple of things off camera. I am going to stamp with a really old, I believe it's Mama Elephant stamp, but I can't swear by that, as well as another stamp. I'm going to use a sort of that rusty orange, a teal, and that lavendery purple color, and stamp some little flowers throughout. I'm also going to fussy cut some of the rusty orange flowers that are in this floral that I'm cutting here. I'm going to cut out a few of those and scatter those around the layout. And again, just to pull it together and close up some of that white space that's between the frames that's in there. And you'll see what I mean by that in the close-ups. So because I'm only matting the layout, and I'm going to double mat it, I'm gutting both pieces of the paper because I know I can use those. I have lots of other goodies, and I want to be able to make sure that I have paper to design with the embellishments that are left over. So I am going to have a few of the frames and a few of the elements popped up off the page, again, just for a little bit of dimension in the page. And once I have all of those frames set there, I will decorate the ones that are left empty. I could leave it as it is and just put the title in, but I like those little final finishing touches that just give that little bit of added oomph to it. Again, double matting this, and so this is going to be that inner layer. I like the way that it adds a little bit of softness to the hardness of that ombre background there. There we go. The other thing that I'm going to do off camera, which I never show you, is I am going to stitch in white just around the outside of that white cardstock there. Again, just kind of for that homey feel. Again, the title of the layout feels like home, and so I felt like the stitching added that homey feel that I was looking for the layout. So it's kind of like frames on the wall of your home for the homey feel, and the hand stitching gives it that homey feel as well. So that is going to be the finished mat around the layout. All of those frames are in there, and now it is time to just set to further embellishing it, putting a title on it, and then some journaling. So I'm just going to use my ruler and a pen from Ellie's Studio to draw the wire, quote unquote, on 2 of these. And that one there, I'm going to use actually for both of those, I'm going to use the dots, the enamel dots that come with the kit. I got the yellow, that was just the color that I got, this sort of that mustard yellow. I'm going to use those as like the nails that those frames are hanging from. But what I am going to do off camera is I am actually going to tie some baker's twine in a bow and hang that off of that top green frame there. So you don't quite see as much of the mustard yellow enamel dot, but it does, again, add some movement and dimension to the page there. I really like that. Doesn't it really look like the frames on a wall? That just, I don't know, there's something about it that just makes me happy. So these are embellishments that come with the kit. The stickers that you see immediately to the left, those are from the add-ons of the kit. And in the floral embellishments, you get a collection of leaves as well as flowers. I am going to use actually where I put that orange leaf just now by the mustard frame. I'm actually going to end up sticking something there. I kind of knew that that was where I wanted something. I just wasn't sure how I was going to tie that into the layout, and it comes together in a little bit. I also have that red frame that's sitting there. I did fussy cut the middle out of it, thinking that I would back it with a different color pattern paper, and it had a really light grid in there, and I am actually going to stick that back in there, and then I'm going to off camera stamp you and me in black in there. So I have this floral, and I want to incorporate that floral into it. I love the way that it closes off that white space, because in a way, if you look at it currently, the way that those frames are aligned, it almost like dovetails and comes to a point on the left-hand side of the page where my daughter with that black and white picture. And I feel like there's some space there that needs to be filled, and I like the way that that floral die cut there closes off that space, and it'll come together super nicely. I really like the way that that comes together. So I'm just messing with some ThermoWeb double-sided foam adhesive so that I can pop a few of these, and trying to get a nice mix of colors in there. I don't really want to bring any more color into the layout, and I want the red to really stand out just by itself there. So I've used a sticker from the sticker sheet, and it says time well spent, because we've spent a lot of time snuggling with these kittens. That is a little house in chipboard, and I am trying, I've tried it in a couple places, and that's where I end up leaving it there to kind of fill that frame. Now what that is there is, that is, it's not foam, Susanna, it is cork. It's adhesive backed cork, and I used a die from Echo Park, and so that is where I'm going to house the title. And I love the way that the top of the title feels like, and then home closes out that space there, as I was referring to earlier. And I love the cork with the color, that just that wood grain with, again, it adds to that homey feel, and I feel like it's a similar hue to that mustard yellow, and so ties that in nicely to that round circle that's in that frame in there of the little house. And then those are really old letter stickers from, I want to say those are from Basic Gray. Really old Basic Gray collection that are just going to fill out that title there. They do not come with the kit. That is from my personal stash. And so I have that floral there at that bottom left in the title. And do you remember I wanted to put that leaf over by that mustard over there? Yep, that is where I'm going to put another floral. There we go. And that pulls in more purple to the layout. And what I'm going to show you, you can see my hand moving on that diagonal there, is I like the way that that floral connects with that bottom floral and gives almost a slight diagonal connection to the layout. Yeah, and then what I am going to do is I am going to journal off camera, and I'm going to journal underneath home, and I'm going to anchor this frame down and do the rest of the stuff off camera, but pretty much that is everything that you see there. So enjoy the close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. I'd be happy to answer any kit questions that you may have too. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back soon. Take care.